Hi, sorry.
Hello, everyone.
Your Mr. Rogers voice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mr. Rogers. You know what, guys? My apologies. I had some technical difficulties, but I did not let the devil stop me today.
Absolutely
Okay, we kept it moving. And we're here now.
Yes. Welcome everybody. I see Keyshia came through. She probably sleep now, or she should be sleep now. Shout out to Gwendolyn Beatty and Ellen B. Welcome, y'all. Today we are going to discuss the Love and Marriage DC episode a little bit, but first, there were some things that were going on that were just like, well, there was one thing in particular that crossed my internet street cruising that I was just like, wait, what? Oh my God, Keyshia Cole.
Yeah.
I've always liked Keyshia Cole because she had that edge. Well, it was a little bit more than an edge. She like the hood chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pretty or whatever, but homegirl been through some stuff.
Yes. And doesn't she have, I was just thinking about the other day, Booby Johnson or Daniel Booby Johnson. Like, I was wondering what he was doing because I kind of mixed him up a little bit with somebody else.
Basketball player, right?
Yeah. And then she went and got with this other guy, I think from DC.
One that was 23.
Yeah, and I think he was from DC, actually.
Hey, bro. He was from DC?
Yeah, and I think they had a baby together.
Yes, I do know that she had a baby by a dude, and he was 23, I guess, at the time that she got pregnant or whatever. But Keyshia Cole is 40 years old.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're the same age. Okay. It's so funny how you think about somebody the way that you first encountered them, and then they stay there. Like, no, she's not that old. She's always going to be as old as I remember her.
Right. Because I didn't even think about it until somebody said it. And I was like, wait, she had a baby by a dude. Okay. And then Antonio Brown, I think he's like 30 something or whatever, 32, 33 or something like that. But I don't really know much about Antonio Brown. I just remember he had the issue a while ago when he was saying they was trying to make him play on a broke ankle. But dude's dogging her out here right now.
I wish Antonio Brown would just go have a quiet moment and reflect on what he has created out of his life. Like, I don't wish any harm on the man, and I don't think he's completely absurd as far as like hurting people, but he just really needs to do some self-reflection, in my opinion. Like, he really needs to go out there and understand, like, what are you actually doing? What is your intention? And like, what is your goal now? Right? Like, what is going on? Anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with Keyshia Cole. Well, it kind of does. It kind of does.
They were messing with each other. Like, and he
posted a screenshot. Okay, so he has a. I'm just looking at it now. He posted a screenshot talking about showing his lower back tattoo, and said, "You ain't pimping until you hit an R&B diva. Free agent, keep pimping." Right? So there's a lot to unpack there. Okay. And I think that he literally okay. And then another part of it that I thought was interesting is that Keyshia Cole said it was a little harsh. And she said maybe he doesn't know it was a little harsh for him to say that, but his response was, "Do you want me to change the caption?" Like, dog, what are you even doing?
When is his birthday?
What are you even doing? Like you're basically putting it out there like you marked her, like she's a notch in your belt, right?
And like exactly how he's saying it.
And he just doesn't get it, which speaks to the real sort of inner issue with him. It's just him not getting it. You ever work with somebody who just doesn't get it, and they do all of these things that are like super, I don't say wrong, but like no one else is doing those things, and they're not helpful, and they're distracting, and look around yourself, read the room, right? It's like, that's him.
Hey, Monique.
Yo, hey, Monique, thank you.
So he's a Cancer, which is interesting, but like Keyshia Cole, like I said, I liked her ever since she came out. Booby Johnson, or what is his last name?
Daniel Booby Johnson, I believe his name was. He was a He
So
was
I remember him.
he was a basketball player, and then he decided he wanted to be a rapper.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay. So I remember him because that was when she came out with that song Incapable, and I fucking love Incapable. I sing the shit out of that joint every time it comes on. But anyway, now so after him, then she had the baby with the young boy from
yeah,
Queen. And then that was the one they were talking about. She was buying him shoes and stuff, I thought. And now, so Antonia was also saying that she wanted him to pay for everything, I guess, or whatever. But like, I've been seeing her Instagram lives too, and sis is like still hurt. You know what I'm saying? Not even by this. She's just, had like this. It's like she's had this like,
tumultuous experience or something.
yeah, like she can't seem to. Remember last week when we was talking about, how you don't really see what's going on because you're in it. And then when you
Yeah.
get out of it, you're like, why the fuck was I doing that? And I think that she's
Yes.
just about to get to that point now. But like she was, I saw her trying to go to the gym, and she was talking about this morning or this afternoon about how she ate some cake last night and now she got to start all over, whatever. But I'm like, she looks good. She just needs to work on here and here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because these decisions as a 40-year-old woman, lady, like, no.
Yeah, it's a part of just growing up. But I know she lost her mom. I think it was last year. But with
Yeah.
COVID seemed like COVID in some ways seemed like COVID, like it was a season. I'm just gonna start referring to COVID as like a time, place, uh, like
I mean,
everything. But anyway,
and to make no mistake, that shit is still here.
this is true. It seemed like it slowed down time, but it also sped it up in some ways. So I can't remember when her mom actually passed, when Frankie passed, but I remember it was sad. And I mean, yeah, I do get the
Yeah.
vibe from her that she's not broken, but I get the vibe from her like that she needs to probably do some inner work, because you could tell when somebody's not really settled, or you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it
She
seems
passed
like,
last July.
yeah, it was last year. So it seemed like, she's
Yeah, that's
kind
messed
of
up.
going through the motions. And even her response to this is different than what I remember her being, how I remember her being. Like, I could remember a time where she would have popped off, she would have insulted him, she would have, you know what I mean, like had a
Cussed
lot more
his
to
ass
say.
out. Mm-hmm.
But she was like, that's not cool. You know what I mean? Whatever she said, it was basically that. It's like that's offensive. That's harsh. That's what she said.
Yeah, I guess that is growth. But then the fact that you would then think, okay, well, I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
but look, that's a
I don't know.
real weird ass couple. And I'm just gonna say this because I never knew I never really followed Antonio Brown's career until recently when he did the whole like walk off the job type of thing. And then I knew who he was, and then he was going around doing some crazy stuff with Kanye. Like they had this whole picture with Kanye and Madonna and Antonio Brown all laid up at a party, and they all looked unhappy. I was just like, how are y'all the richest people, like with the most, notoriety, and you're all at a party posing like you're happy, but it's clear that you're miserable. You're
You know
all
what?
miserable.
Because money don't make
Pretending to be happy.
happiness. And like you can have all of that stuff and be invited to all those parties, whatever, and still be dead inside. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like just like I feel like Will Smith has practiced laughing when he really
Yeah.
doesn't want to laugh. I feel like some of these celebrities, a lot of these celebrities just have practiced masking how they really feel because it's times where they can't just feel the
Yeah,
feeling, right?
it's like the unspoken thing is that it's almost like not allowed. Like you got to be on, and that's
I
one of the
mean, because
reasons.
look at how people eat them up when like the smallest thing happens. And so I get it, but then it's like sometimes I would have to disconnect and go fix that. You know what I'm saying? Because people can see it. And like I said, when she goes on her lives, when Keyshia Cole goes on her lives and stuff, I see you working out and I see you like trying to be like, fuck you, I'm still here or whatever, but you do need to just kind of just
take a chill pill and just figure
yeah.
that out. Figure that out. Go and figure that out.
Crazy. You went to like just to look back and be like, I got this dude's tattoo initials on me. Is that true? Does the article say that?
Well, yeah, it looked like he got it right. He got the
He got
her.
it or she got it? Because I thought she got it on her lower back, and he broke up with
That
her.
would be even worse. So how did he get that picture?
Wait, I don't know which one you're looking. What are you looking at? Let me
Okay,
see.
I'm lunching now.
Let me look. Because I don't know. Okay, so I just need to gain more understanding because once you get that age, it's like you don't want to be dealing with stuff like that. And this man is, I'm sorry, he's not stable. He's not stable
No,
enough
he's
to
not
be
stable. He's actually really going through some stuff himself, which
with two
really
broken
brings me to
people.
this
Which
point. Because I saw one article when I was looking this up
you just spoke
on
something.
the YBF, whereas they were like, did they trauma bond?
Okay.
And when I saw that, I was like, well, damn, I could. There's probably an 85% chance that that's true. Right,
Probably
like
higher than that. Yep,
I
I
don't
didn't look
ever
at it like
remember
that.
either of them being so stable. Past, like, no, they
Yeah,
were.
I didn't look at it like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because like a lot of times what we often do is when we hear situations like this, we judge them with our own brain, right? But yeah, that makes sense if they're both broken or they're both, I'm not gonna say broken, if they're both having to work out or work past or through their traumas and they bonded on that, then that makes a lot of sense. Like,
yeah. I mean, I could so see it. There's not been a lot that when something is said like that and it sounds so true or it sounds so possible and it just resonates, like, yeah, that's probably true. Like, I could see that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would imagine they did trauma bond. But it kind of goes into one of the questions I'm saving for when we start talking about love and marriage. Is like, going into relationships, I wonder how often we really think about, because I know that I didn't do this. I just kind of lucked up. But how often we think about like what our needs are and why, like what that looks like in a partner, right? Because it's easy to know what's not. It's easy to get into a relationship and be like, I'm not getting what I need out of this. But it's also easy to leave said relationship and still not be able to like put your finger on it, because it's something that, like you said, if you just take some time to yourself and figure out what it is that you're actually doing, right, then that could probably lead you to some clues. But I think it's interesting. I don't think many people, including myself, sat down and really thought about, like, in the dating world or even in the friend world, because I attract a lot of people who are out for other things. But it's like, what do I need out of a relationship? What do I need out of a friendship? What does that look like in a partner? And so this kind of reminds me of that, because it's like, I'm sure they weren't thinking that at all. He talking about you not whatever until you hit an R&B diva. Like, was that your goal when you saw her? Were you not just like attracted to her because you're like, oh, I'm gonna hit this R&B diva? Like,
see, and that's the thing, right? I have to imagine that once you are like a celebrity, your ability to like discern has to be even better, because you don't know if these people are just here to enjoy your fame. Are they really into you, or are they just, I mean, but I
or
guess
they're just bored and they're just here to do
I
something.
guess this shows though that they go through the same stuff regular people go through, but I'm not going through that at 40.
Almost even worse, because if your ex puts up a picture of you and it's just some mutual friends, that's one thing. but when the world sees it and they're like, huh, what's this? Like, I don't know what the picture was. So horrible journalist moment. I haven't seen the picture. It's been deleted. I couldn't find it. But
wait, I didn't see it either.
Apparently it was one of them got the other one's initials tattooed on their body.
She did.
I thought he did, but you're right. It makes more sense that she would have.
Because the headlines were reading that she got dumped after she got his initials tattooed on her. And see, those are decisions I'm talking about. Like, I don't care what, this doesn't have anything to do with, I guess it has to do more with maturity than healing broken things. Because even though I may be going through some trauma and working through some stuff, I still am mature enough to make a decision to be like, is it smart to get this man's name on me?
Now, see, now you about to get into something. That was my next question. What possesses a person to get somebody's name or initials tattooed on them? And listen, AB, probably Antonio Brown, if that's what it was. Okay, that can be played off or something like that.
She's not gonna be able to play that shit off.
But now it's like, I don't know where he got the picture from. Is he just going through his old phones? Like, he probably does have some time on his hands, but I'm just saying, like, what is he thinking about that he's gonna post that somewhere? And why would you allow yourself to get that into somebody? Like, he's never been some, like, kind guy. He's
okay.
He's only even gotten more arrogant, but I can only imagine who he was when they dated. And like, why would you get someone's initials on you? What in what world is that a good idea?
So here's what I'm gonna say, because I have not read the article in full, so I don't know if she's admitted to getting the tattoo or if it was just that picture that came out, because there's no face in the picture. I don't know, man. And it's just the initials of AB.
So what? So do you see the picture, or you said you didn't see the picture?
Yeah, but it's not really clear. Like, I watch enough YouTube to know that we don't know whose back that is.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but she could have.
But if she would have responded, if she responded to it, I'm thinking she has to know that's her back. That's my back. Why are you doing that? That's a little hard.
So she says, she I guess she's reflecting now, and she's like, okay, yeah, I was big tripping, shaking my head. I see it now. I have a 12-year-old. Like, that type of disrespect for what? Nothing is worth that level of disrespect, especially when you don't deserve it. Has so much love and respect and admiration for you. Guess that wasn't mutual either.
Yeah, so it was definitely her. Okay. And that was a grown-up statement. She could have been like, you know what I'm saying?
Who posted this though? Okay, that was Keyshia Cole.
She could have went on him in a whole nother way, but that's super growth for her to be like, you know what? Wow, I respected you. Too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really unfortunate that you handled it this way.
And but, I mean, I get it. Something like that too. She replied back to another post apparently and said, "This is the second time you listed this," and tagged Brown with the emoji of like exhausted face with the eyes down and little frowning face, and said, "Don't be mad at me no more, babe. I said I apologize." But see, like, I don't know. I gotta look more into this, because I don't know, man. I just feel bad for her in a way, but in a way I'm like, she should know better because she has been in the industry. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but I don't know how long ago that was. That she, you know what I mean? Like, if that could have been one of those things where it happened so long ago when they were dating. I'm thinking that's what it was. Anyway.
I don't know. Moving on, which brings me to the moving on phrase brings me to the fact that I just figured out, well, I knew what my emoji was going to be, but I wasn't sure how to tie it into like my page or whatever.
Okay.
And so it might sound corny at first, but it'll make sense hopefully once I finish explaining it. So I'm going to call the people who come to this chat my movers and shakers. Okay. And the emoji is a sneaker, a tennis shoe, because over here we keep it moving, whether that's me working out, whether that's me moving over some drama, or moving to the next story. So
yes,
you can drop the sneakers in the chat, and yeah, we'll go like that. When I figure out something better, then that's what we'll change it to. But for now, that's what we're gonna do. So anyway, I'll have to make that announcement again probably when I do another video.
No, I love that. That's movers and shakers. I love it. I'm one. I'm one too.
Absolutely. But so anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because that was something that I saw a little while ago, and I was just like, what the hell is going on, Keyshia? So anyway, you had something else you were talking about though.
Yeah, I was actually toggling between a couple of things, but that kind of does speak to one of the things I was thinking about, which was we kind of spoke about this earlier, but we weren't even talking about speaking about it, but it kind of goes along with moving and shaking because I'm finding myself, we didn't do this today. We didn't ask each other how our week was. And I'll just answer that with this. I'm finding that I'm getting really impatient. Like I'm putting a lot of work in. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, right? Like I'm working, I have projects at work, we're in the middle of some life transitions, like we're just moving and shaking. But we're building our businesses and our our brands, whatever. We're building our bodies of work. And um it's so crazy how I know better, but I want things to happen so much faster. And I find myself getting so frustrated, like with the amount of time that's passing. Not even like the business stuff, right? But like even in a day, like I'll sit there and plan out 40 things to do over the weekend, like knowing good and well, it's like no way I'm gonna get all of that stuff done. But it really, the other day I recognized like the need for like incorporating balance
Yeah.
and just really intentionally having like recreation time and like
Okay.
okay,
I was about to
yeah,
show you something, but because you said the word balance, this is what I was watching Shan's today
mm-hmm,
because Shan's is my friend in my head.
yeah,
If you guys don't know about the Social Proof podcast with David Shands and Donnie Wiggins, do yourself
gotta
a
look
favor
into
and
that.
check it out. But today
Gotta
they
do
were
that.
talking about the life cycle of a good idea, or the stages of the stages everybody goes through having a good idea. But they talked about balance, and Donnie was like, "Look, if you're balanced, nothing's moving. You're not doing anything." You know what I'm saying? And she was like,
Mm,
so, they were like, if you were balanced at work, maybe this is not right. Your family or your dating life might not be right, or vice versa, right? And
yeah,
so she was like, it'll never be completely balanced. You just need to grow to be able to maintain what you not maintain, but like keep things where they're supposed to be, but you don't want to be stagnant or whatever. You got to watch the episode because
I
she, as
do.
usual, dropped some gems.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about balance for a second. That's a great point. Because the way that I think about I have two definitions or like ways viewpoints on balance. Number one is fourth quarter says there's no such thing as balance. The thing is, there is if you want to live that kind of life, but if you want something more, if you want something greater, you have to become greater. So the idea that like do you think Elon Musk has balance? I don't think so. Like not the way that we were taught what balance looks like. A lot of times we're thinking balance like same weight, right? Like 50
Or
pounds, 50
having
pounds.
yeah, having everything all together and moving smoothly and nothing's
And
going
it's
wrong.
never like that. If you think about balance, the best example I can give when I'm thinking about this perspective of it is in the movie Speed, right? Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, she was driving and the cops had blocked off a part. That joint was so funny. I just watched it a little while ago, like probably a couple months back, and I was like, I was really into this when it came out.
I
But it's
know,
like
right?
it's so funny. So they get to this one point and she was like, whatever his name was, she was like, I think his name was Jack. Jack. He came there, she was like, we're gonna tip over. We can't do this. We have to. And he was like, you're right. We're gonna tip over. So he went back there and he told everybody move to this side of the bus, right? So it's like they reacted to inertia, right? So inertia, but they reacted. There was something that made them react, and they balanced the bus based off of how fast they were going at what angle, and they made a move. So balance is basically in one perspective like leveling out. You're not going to fall over if you're balanced, but you might be leaning over to the side.
Right.
But that means you're going to have to move around and do some other things. That's balance. If you're spending 10 hours working a day, you're not going to be able to clean the whole house and make a 4-course meal. It's just not going to happen, but you can do something and move and maneuver to get that thing, to get everything fit. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. The other thing I think about when I think about balance is what's left over, right? You think about a bank balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember our younger days. This is so funny. I'm about to say this. We used to live together, and we had party money, right? We had party money. It's like, oh, it's Friday, it's our time. It's so funny because I don't even remember being irritated going to work those days when I was that young, because I didn't care. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work because this is party money. Like, we about to have a
Yeah,
party,
no.
you know what I'm saying? We're about to go out, or we about to have a party at our house. Anyway, so but my thinking was
Hey,
this.
those parties used to be lit.
Hello.
Lit,
So
lit,
what's
lit.
funny is this.
Let me just okay.
If you think about the budget, right? If you think about how you budget your money, I think at that back at that time, I had to be making so little money. I think I was making like $1,000 a paycheck because I wasn't that old. I mean, like we were in our 20s, I think. So I wasn't that old. I wasn't making a lot of money. I think I was like a receptionist or something like that. So I was bringing in like maybe a
Hey,
thousand,
goody.
maybe $1,100 a paycheck, but I knew how much my bills were, and what was left over was about to be party money, right? Like, this is what's left over, and this is what's gonna balance me. This is the balance, right? So like,
That's a good
whatever's
point.
left over after bill money's taken out, that's what's left over for me. And that's kind of how I think of my work week sometimes, because it's like, I know I gotta get in here, I know I gotta do this. And even my life, like, okay, this weekend I know we gotta go grocery shopping, we gotta do this errand, we gotta go to this meeting, we gotta blah blah blah. And then I always identify what's left over for me, because that's my time to recreate myself. And Earl Nightingale was saying this about recreation. The word recreation, it sounds like, go and do something fun. But in that, there has to be some intention to do what you love to do. If you love to color, or if you love to go fishing, or if you love to go hiking, or if you just love to watch birds, or whatever it is that you love to do, like, it's so important. I'm learning this now, to find time to do what you love, no matter how silly or how whatever you think it is, like, because that is recreating yourself. If you start with an empty cup, and like, I can really speak to this, and I don't know if this is for somebody, whatever, but like, I've had weeks and weeks and weeks, years. I don't do this anymore, but like, where I would wake up in the morning and just like all immediately just start dreading the day. Right. And that's in fact why I started waking up earlier, because I needed to make time so that I can mope around and complain for 20 minutes before I started getting dressed. And I noticed that I was running out of time to do that. And I'm like, I got to get up early so I can complain. Okay, so that's why I started early. But I will dread the day. And when you start your day like that, and you were telling me about a morning routine, James was telling me about a morning routine. Look, when you start your day already at zilch, you're already at zero, you're already dreading the day. That everything you give, right? Whether it's making your kids lunch, or taking somebody to the bus stop, or going to work and pouring out, everything you give is at a deficit to you, because you haven't filled yourself up yet. So there is no balance when you're doing it that way. When you're just waking up to have a bad day and go through the motions just to show up.
Do that. But when you're in that moment, like I was saying, you don't realize how much better it is if you would not do that. Because like I was saying about the morning routine, like, why wouldn't you wake up and like be your own hype man? Hype yourself up. Talk about, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, or 10. You know what I'm saying? Do a little meditation. Now, if you're not a meditation person, like a lot of times people think of morning routines when they hear meditation and stuff, they're like, oh, I'm not a meditation person. Well, you might not be, but you might like to have a cup of coffee in the morning. You might like to fix yourself some breakfast. You might like to, watch your favorite show, or whatever it is that is for you. But why wouldn't you want the first thing in the morning to be to like make yourself feel good? Like if you think about it in terms of like when people have a baby, right? Like especially a newborn, when they get up in the morning, you immediately go to make sure that their pampers dry, that they smell good, that they get to eat or whatever, so that they can be comfortable for the day. So it's like, why not do that to yourself? You're gonna take a shower.
Oh my God.
You're gonna feel better because you're gonna take a shower. You're gonna look good because you've taken a shower and you put on some clean clothes, and you've hyped yourself up. You gave yourself that little virtual high five or literal high five. You did something you liked, you know what I'm saying? And now, okay, I'm gonna go into, I like to call it the sponsor, because the sponsor is sponsoring your fun money, your bill money. Maybe it's money for you to start a side hustle, you know what I'm saying? But you need to be the you need to be at your best for you to be able to give to anybody else in any situation. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the airplane. Like, you gonna put your mask on first before you help somebody else. So
Yeah,
like that's like what I call putting your mask on. I don't know.
You said two bomb things that I just wanted to touch on, and I got to play the other side of it because it's real. So the first thing was treating yourself like a baby. Like, you're just basically giving yourself all the needs, right? And that's how I was trying to think about self-care, because I'm like, what is self-care, right? Like, people throw that around and it's like, it's almost like a word that it could mean a lot of things. So I was like, I think self-care is taking care of all your parts and your insides too, right? So it's just like obviously you're gonna put lotion on your elbows and your knees, and you're gonna wash your face, and you're gonna wash all your parts, and you're gonna make sure your hair looks away, your nails look away, and your face look away, right? You're gonna make sure that you're dressed well. Well, the thing about it is, that's what, like you said, that's what you would do for if you were caring for someone else. Like that's self-care. That's what you should do for yourself, because you want them to have a good day, the same way you would treat a baby. So I thought that was a really good point. I'm so grateful that you brought that out. And the other thing was, why wouldn't someone do this? This is where I'm going to play devil's advocate. I have a couple of answers on why someone wouldn't do it, because I still struggle.
That was the question in my head.
Legs must be washed. Yes.
Absolute facts.
We're not pulling no Taylor Swifts around here.
That's crazy. Well, there also are people who like kind of shower once a week. I saw too. Some celebrities.
I know some people like that, and they're not even ashamed of it. And but you know what's? And I'll
be on a countdown. I'll be like, all right, I just took the shower at night. I'm gonna go to bed, and then I get up in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'm taking a shower. But when I leave the house, I'm like on a countdown. Like, all right, when am I gonna get back? Versus what I got to do today. Like, I just be thinking about stuff like, okay, like some people be like, oh, let me run out to the store real quick. I'm not going to take a shower. I'm just going to put this on, throw this on or whatever. Now, I'm not going to say I haven't like gotten up
of course, I've done
in the morning, especially on vacation, and just kind of went to the store. Or,
of course.
Randomly. But I had this thought the other day that made me rethink all of that, right? Because when the quarantine happened, people were just literally kind of letting themselves go. You know what I mean?
Like, oh my God, I know.
Really doing their hair, they weren't doing anything or whatever. Now, I wasn't going to nobody's salon or nothing to get my nails done or nothing, but people run outside. So they've gotten used to being like, well, I'm just, sweatpants, whatever, every day, which is cool. But I beg you to think about showering before, just in case something happens while you're out, because you thinking I'm about to run in the store in these pajamas and these Crocs real quick, but then something happens and you have to be outside for like hours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. I've seen some crazy
photos. Go ahead and get dressed for the day. And
hey, let's talk with Sheila. Just said, hey,
Sheila.
So what's funny is, why would people do the legs? That's such a good question. She's good. And good boy said, every time I get in the shower and wash my legs, I'm like, why wouldn't people do the legs? I don't know. I don't know.
Do the feet. Like I guess they thought since they were standing in water that it's just gonna run down or whatever.
I have no idea where the thinking from that comes from, because that's not the way I was taught. I was taught very much in detail the sequence of washing and the changing of the cloths and all that stuff. I was taught very well which crevices not to intermingle cloths. Like, look, once you wipe this part, that one's done.
Oh my gosh, man. You are so silly. Hey, Sheila.
Shout out to Mom. But anyway, I was thinking about, why wouldn't someone do that, right? Why wouldn't someone, like you said, shower or get up to give themselves, pour into themselves? And I can speak a little bit from experience, not the showering part, but okay, for sure though. Beginning of COVID, I definitely went a couple times where it was like, oh man, it's been 2 days, or has it been 3? Let me get in the shower. Because in the beginning, time was so warped that I would forget, right? And then but that was
that's fine.
COVID. That was the only time, okay? But as far as like why wouldn't people get up to pour into themselves, it's because you've accepted the negativity of where you are. Like it's just like I know I gotta go to work, so let me just prolong it, let me just procrastinate so that I don't have to think about the fact that I have to go to work, let me just or the payoff doesn't seem there. Like you mentioned meditating, like a lot of people don't know how to actually meditate, so they wouldn't try it. They'll just be like, it's not for me. But you don't know it's not for you if you've never tried it, or if you haven't like looked up the benefits of it or how to do it, right? But so many people swear by it, it's worth looking into. And I've done it. I don't do it regularly like I should, but every time I do it, I feel better. I instantly feel better. Like it's so funny the way the body and the mind and everything works together, because when you just, it's almost like a mind hug. When you just give yourself the time to breathe and not think, it's like you get this rejuvenation, and then it's like waking up from a nap. You know what I mean? But it's even better because you have a sense of clarity, you have a sense of like just peace. So I can understand why people
I
wouldn't
can
do it though.
understand that.
I can understand why people wouldn't do it, because they don't see the payoff in it, because they don't know about it,
Because we
or
live in a
because
world of instant gratification, and meditation is not instant gratification.
there's this other piece though. That's why I'm fighting this advocate, this devil's advocate side. It's the lack of belief, man. It's like, well, this ain't gonna work no way. And it's not just the meditation. It's like when people say like write down your goals, even exercise, right? You're so far from what you perceive to be success that you're like, it's not even worth it today. Right? I don't even want to do this. But I know the irritation from my job and my responsibilities is already here. So I'm just going to focus on that because that's guaranteed. Right?
I mean, I think that was the thing that kind of really, really showed me that my morning practices were making a difference when we were in the quarantine and I was working from home, and it was no like fine line to say, okay, I'm leaving the office now. It's work is over, because the laptop was there, and things were happening, and it's like, okay, well, I'll just do a little bit more. But I also found myself getting up and immediately going to go check my email. And then I was like, look, we not doing that. Like if you was at work, you would have to drive to work, you know what I'm saying, before you actually got to do this. So what are you going to do with this extra time or whatever? So that's kind of how I had started doing that. But there was times like when I worked places and I just literally woke up like, oh, I gotta go back into this motherfucker again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stand being there, and all the way to work, I just be thinking about,
blown.
I did not even want to be here. But like that is also something that I feel like, when you take time to hype yourself up in the morning, and like I said, however you want to do it, then you kind of, make yourself feel like you are important. And a lot of us do everybody else's stuff first and then ours last. So the whole practice of like gratitude journaling and things like that, you're writing stuff on the paper or whatever, but you're actually sewing into yourself because you're doing that. But that brings me to Goody's comment. I'm gonna need to take one of her spiritual ritual baths, make my shower like hers, because I do use different soaps and stuff like that. But she says my showers are a spiritual ritual with like 3 soaps: rue, sage, and peppermint, and a rosemary sea salt squirt while I pray. I know that's right.
I know that's right too. That joke just gave me like that joke some chicken soup for the soul. She got some rosemary in there too. No, I heard about eucalyptus in the shower, but I haven't tried that. But I do have like a lot of body washes and soaps that I really like. But nothing to be that. She's got that down. I need to take notes on that.
She says people actually do not know what meditation is. They believe meditation must be a still mind for a certain amount of time. Facts.
Okay.
Meditation is a pause for reflection, 1 minute or 100 minutes. Okay. I agree totally. And so like that last workout challenge that I did, even though I saw results of the workout, the best part of that challenge was was the mindfulness part. And like Goody said, it's not that you have to sit there and just, I'm not going to move for this amount of time. It could be sitting on the daggone balcony, just looking off, off the balcony. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be still, but it could be a walk. It could be, it's just like you're kind of just your being, you know what I'm saying? And you're not really worried about, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Oh, what's the like those are the thoughts that I like let come and go away, and I'm like, nah, I'm busy right now. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what's funny? I wonder how related these two things are, because that just got me to thinking. You know how sometimes you'll just get caught in a daze, and you're in a daze, and you're just
Oh,
staring at a
I'm
thing.
listening. I gotta be
But
back.
for like 20 or 30 seconds, you just are like looking at a thing, and you're
Two
caught
of
in a
them. They
daze.
about to get me. Hold on. I'll be back. Two gnats just came in. They're trying to get my beer.
Oh, no. I'll just talk to the people. So this is so funny, and I wonder if it's related to meditation. Just when you sit there and you get caught in a daze, and you're in a daze, and somebody's like, even in the room, and telling you like, "What are you looking at?" And you're like, "Wait a minute, I'm in a daze. Like I'm not getting out of this daze." I
Not right
wonder if
now.
that's like the step cousin of meditation.
Listen, it's just interesting because like I said, when I was younger, before I started to like really kind of even try to, like, I don't claim to understand fully now at all, but before I learned how to control my attitude, control my emotional outbursts, if you will, like, I was very reactive versus just like, okay, I don't have control over this, so it's no point for me to even get mad about that. Like, that took a long time to kind of flip 180, you know what I'm saying? But now that I do this, I'm looking back and I'm just like, man, when you're in it, you don't see it. And so it's like you got to kind of really be looking for, like, you have to study. Like, when I say study, I mean, like, you got to learn yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm about to take this conversation off into a whole metaphysical thing, and that's not what we're talking about. We was talking
No,
about.
that's what I was into it. All right, look, we should spend some time talking about Love and Marriage DC, which we
Yes.
just watched. If I had an applause thing right now, I'd be like, yay!
I don't got no sound effects either.
I'm excited.
But yes,
Listen, we're
yes.
gonna get that hooked up because I got some stuff over here we can use. But anyway, so what's interesting? All right, listen. I'm not trying to bash nobody, but I have to be honest. So I just want to give a shout out to all the cast members, even the ones that I can't remember their names, because I think it is a very courageous for you to put yourself out there, even if you're like seeking fame or notoriety. Like it's still a risk
I mean,
that
yeah,
you
because
put
this is their
yourself out
business.
there.
You know what I'm saying? This
You
is
know what
their
I'm
personal
saying?
business.
And so I'll start out with Monique Samuels because we all know her, or if you did watch or know about Real Housewives of Potomac, then you know who she is. You know a little bit about her, and you know who Chris Samuels is because he was a great football player. Actually, I don't remember him because I'm not like all that into football, but James is the football and basketball guy, and he vouches for him like, yo, he was a bomb player. He got in there, he did what he needed to do, and he was one of the Redskins back when the Redskins were the Redskins. So he has my respect
When the
there.
Redskins were
Also,
the
he just seems like a lovable guy. I don't have any problems with him. But it's really interesting to see them again on another show still seeming as distant as they were. So one of the things I was looking for when I wanted to see her on a different show was just because I always felt like when I was watching the Real Housewives of Potomac that she was kind of like fronting a little bit, like it's not the real her. You know how when somebody's like, I think somebody's the girl in which I did watch the rest of it. I don't know if we ever talked about the Ultimatum. The girl in the Ultimatum who ended up being in a same-sex relationship after she went.
Yes.
Right? Okay, her. When she was like, I look good, I know how to do it, and she was just like talking about all this stuff. It's just like, that doesn't mean you're gonna fall in love and make somebody want to marry you just because you know all of this stuff. Like, that's not how it works, lady. You have to actually have a personality, and somebody has to want to marry you or want to be with you. Like, you can't just be like, okay, here's my paper, I checked all the boxes, marry me, right? So I kind of feel that same sort of vibe coming from Monique Samuels because she's a beautiful girl and she's talented. One of the first episodes of Real Housewives of Potomac, she spit like a freestyle. It wasn't a freestyle, but she like was talking about how she used to be a rapper, and she did a rap, and it wasn't bad. It was a good rap. But I didn't see her as a rapper either. And clearly, I mean, you know.
She rapped the when they did their watch party last week. She rapped the whole Busta Rhymes song. Oh, I can't remember which one it was. I'll send
Yeah,
you the video. She
but
rapped the whole
it
song.
kind of seems like she's the, I don't know what her, I remember her vaguely talking about her upbringing, but it seems like she's one of those girls that just wants to be a good girl. And so she wants to do all her homework and keep her room clean. And here's my backpack, mommy. Look, I did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Yeah,
not talking
yeah.
about her and her mom, but that seems
No,
like
no, I
how
get what
she's
you're saying.
presenting herself to the world, is like, I'm so good and I do this and I do that, but it's not really anything real, right? It's not saying anything real, because I do think we saw some real moments, especially in this first episode, and we definitely saw some real moments on Real Housewives of Potomac where she lost her cool and she hit Dag, what's her name?
Candace, was it Candace?
Candace. When she hit Candace, I think she was out of her mind. Listen, you know how you have those moments where you just don't remember what happened, but then when you remember what happened, you're like, yeah, I did it. You know what I mean? I think that was one of those moments for her when we saw the real her, but it was unleashed. So we got to see, I'm not saying that's the real her, like the violent side, but that was a real moment. It was a vulnerable moment because she wouldn't have wanted to present herself that way. But I think that's kind of like what we fall victim to when we pretend for so long. And then at some point you just got to let loose. So I think that was kind of like a casualty of presenting yourself this way. Cause I feel like, all right, here's the thing.
Oh, damn, buddy.
Here's the thing, like I'm not trying to be bashing them or anything like that, because I do like them as a couple. Like individually, they both seem like nice people. They're a good looking couple. They have, I mean, she's obviously a great mom. She's trying to do her thing with her podcast and stuff like that, but just initial reaction is that, okay, she's starting to come off again like, I got it all together and look at me and da da da. And it's just like, right. Like, I'm not really buying it. Like,
What do
I
you
did
say?
appreciate
Superficial.
I did appreciate the vulnerable moment where they were talking about their marriage and stuff like that, like what they need to work on.
Did they talk about that on Real Housewives of Potomac? Because I didn't watch that past like the beginning. I abandoned that show.
No, so I don't think that, okay, here's what I do think. I think that they definitely didn't have any control over production with Bravo. With Real Housewives, like, you can't dictate what you want on there, right? But I think she might have some power behind the scenes here because she started, she was the first open like monologue on the show. She did her confessional and she's like kind of narrating it a little bit. So I'm thinking she must have some maybe not executive producer powers, but she must have a little bit more control as far as like what's presented if she's kind of like building a narrative for herself. And she kept saying that other show. I don't like when people do that because we know what you're talking about. Like, don't say it like that. Even if it was against the contract to say the Real Housewives of Potomac, right? Like, the way she said that other show, it was just like you're throwing shade for no reason. Like, we wouldn't even really know who you were if it wasn't for the show. So like, and don't make it out to be like you didn't do what you did. All the footage that was shown was footage that you participated in the filming of, and that you gave, people access to see what you were gonna do. And you did it, and they got it on camera. And then they they presented it how they want to. So it's just odd to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a villainizing thing. I'm sorry. Am I monopolizing? Did you have
No, I'm listening. No, Goody says she's a Libra. She thinks before she acts, and she's more reserved than emotional. When you think before you act, folks get the edit and not the first reaction. Got it.
I get it, but she seems super edited to me. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it seems like she's just coming off in this way. Even like, when she's laughing and stuff, like you can tell they're not real laughs. And if you're not going to laugh for real, like, why are you laughing? Like, that's not fun for anyone. Like,
I'm telling you though, like people like Will Smith and stuff, they practice being able to do it without like being really in a laughing mode.
Will Smith does the same thing. Is he a Libra also? Because he stayed with that laugh. And it's like, you're not really laughing, man. Just cut it out. Knock it off.
Well, I think that I like the way that everybody was dressed or whatever. I did watch the Real Housewives of Potomac at first when she first came on, and I remember her talking about like the four houses, and I remember how kind of how they were receiving her. And so I didn't watch a lot after that, so I don't really know. I didn't even see the her whole Hidden Candace thing. Like that's a shock to me. I feel like I want to go back and find it.
Oh
I
my
didn't do that the
gosh, you
last
didn't
time.
see that?
Yeah, I still haven't gone to look for that.
Okay.
But then but so first impressions on this show, like just looking at her with not that other show in mind, I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I can see I guess I can see why Carlos would approach her for a show, because I think there's something there. But if it is just her being superficial the whole time, it's going to start showing. It's going to start being like,
well, so
because
yeah,
the other couples, they got some real couples on there. So the
yes,
real is going to make that stand out. Or when I say stand out, I mean it's going like people going to like these people because they're more authentic, and they're not going to really resonate with these people because it's not authentic.
it's not authentic. It's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Will Smith is a Libra too.
See, okay, see,
Oh
that
my
makes sense.
gosh.
That makes sense. Willard is a Libra.
I get it.
Listen,
I'm
that makes
similar.
sense
There
to
are
me
a
then.
plethora of other folks who see me as a Christian pastor.
That makes
He's
a
a
complete
Libra?
sense to
That's
me then, because they have
crazy.
that in common. Okay, so here's what I have to say about the whole and
Oh,
look, it's so
and
funny
look
that
at
they have
that. She
so
hit
much in
somebody and
common.
he hit somebody. Look at that.
That's what I was getting ready to say. They have so much in common because it was the same moment, really. If I got just break this down, let me have this moment, guys. Let me break this down. Okay, we hear, we see, and I feel like they're going. What's his name in the wild, studying the crocodiles. Here we see in the wilderness, right? It was the same moment that they had, to be honest with you. They had done fake so much. And like, I've held myself back for so long, and I've told you that I was this person, and I've presented to be this person. But really, deep down inside, I want to smack the shit out of you. And what happened with Candace, and I don't want to ruin it for you, but you could probably Google it, and you know what happened. So, what happened with Candace, and I don't look, who needs me to condone shit? I don't condone. Who cares if I do? Like, whatever. It happens. Here's what I will say. That happens, and you can get slapped. So America, just be careful out there when you're talking, right? When you're talking crazy, just know that there's a possibility there's people out here slapping. And I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world either.
I put up
Unfortunately,
Monique slapped Candace, and it said Monique beats up Candace. That's
unfortunately,
what
it's a
Google
whole bunch of
suggested.
other stuff happening out here that can happen too that is also awful. But by comparison, being slapped is not the end of the world. It sometimes can just be a self-check or understanding that this is not your environment, right? So anyway, what happened with Candace with the slap and Monique was that she had pretended for so long that she was this person. And here's the thing that I just took major issue with. So like Candace was talking, and she knows how to talk, and she knows how to throw jabs. She's really like witty, and she knows exactly what to say that's going to bother you to the utmost. That's going to get under your skin. And then the way she says it, and she be shaking her head and shaking her hand, like just really going in. And I think at a certain point, if you're not willing to go tit for tat and be that ugly with your words, something could just flash, and just like that, you know what I mean? Like, somebody's got your weave in their hand. So what's happening though in that scene was that they were talking back and forth, and she did get some inclination. It wasn't like, and Will Smith also walked up on the stage. He had that whole moment where, oh, now you're 30 feet away from me. Now you're 20. Now you're 10. Now you're right here. Should I duck? Right? Like, but Will Smith wasn't that type of person. But this was a whole different situation because Candace was all in her face, saying all of this stuff, probably saying some low blow stuff because they were friends at some point. And then Monique just lost it. And then she hit her. Then she went on this whole campaign. Okay, so after she hit her, though, gotta mention this. She hit her, she had her hair in her hands, and they wouldn't let go. And she was hitting her. And then after they got them separated, they separated Monique in the back, and they had Candace somewhere else. Monique ran in some wedges, I think. She ran top speed like a daggone uh Olympic runner, young. She
Oh my
ran from
God.
like the production didn't even catch her like that. So like she ran to go hit her again. She ran. And you gotta think to yourself, like, if you as an adult, when you take off running, that was a decision. Right? Like you have an intention. So then it was hard for
Oh
me then for
my
her whole
goodness.
campaign after that, for her to be saying things like, that's not me. Because no, that's exactly who you are. But maybe the circumstances are what made it so intense, because you pretended for so long until you couldn't anymore, and it just all spilled out, and then there were casualties. And that's why I don't recommend that we hold things inside like that, because it ends up where somebody's getting dealt with, and it's like, it's hard to watch, but sometimes it's not. In this particular instance, it was not hard to watch. I was very
I pulled
fascinated
something
by
up
it.
too. I
I was
see the
very
beginning
fascinated.
part where she was like, Candace was doing like that or something to Monique's face, and she kind of came close to her face, but I didn't see anything. I haven't watched the whole thing out of
Those
that.
are the type of actions, and again, I'm
That
not
can get you
advocating
fucked
for
up, because
violence
why are
of this
you in my
kind,
box? Like, do
but
not.
here's the thing. For someone, and I will say this on Monique's behalf, she did warn her also, like, if you keep doing that, something's gonna happen to you, right? Because I think at that point she knew she was losing control. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey,
don't
but
want to do
people
that.
do shit like that though, and it's like, you can't be all over my face. Like, not to be off topic, but the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Drew was getting in Sheree's face last week. That could
What
get
are
you
you
fucked up
doing?
too.
That's dangerous. Have you seen those arms? So I didn't even see that, but I wouldn't do that. I would not recommend being in Sheree's face like that. And I haven't seen Sheree.
I was like, girl,
I haven't seen Sheree do anything violent, but I wouldn't want to try to see it. Like, if she be working out, I would imagine that that she knows how to hold her own. But I mean, I'm not just saying it like funny or whatever. Like, I'm being funny, but it's like, I wouldn't pick on anybody, and I wouldn't get in somebody's face like that and start yelling and using words if I wasn't prepared to defend myself or something like this, right? So I just feel like that wasn't a good look. Anyway, my whole point is this: we're starting out the same way, where Chris Samuels and Monique Samuels are coming off a little bit puppety, and we're not really seeing the real them. Now, they did get into the whole marriage thing, which, let me bring up this other couple who I really like, the Tylers.
yes, they're the bomb.
Okay, sidebar. I love their accents, and this is how you know when somebody is a true native to Washington, D.C., the area, because their accent is such where they're from around here. And I loved it. I
Listen,
love
we could be
everything.
out of town and hear that and be like, oh, what's up?
Oh, what's up? You from there? Yeah, exactly. Where you from? It's like, exactly where they're from.
She went to Dunbar, he went to Friendly.
Okay. Yeah, I love them. And partly because it was like their accents and stuff, but I could just feel an authenticity from both of them, where it was just like, you're just being yourself. And that kind of brings me to the other question I wanted to ask you about, with them being like the sort of like subject of discussion, not even at their whole anniversary dinner, but before then. It was like they were plotting to ask them all of these marriage questions, like, oh, we need to ask y'all some questions. We need to ask y'all some questions. I have not ever seen that before. So, I mean, I did find it quite odd, and it was like a topic of discussion. I feel like it took up a good percentage of the show, just the lead in to, like, we're going to ask them about how they keep their marriage so,
okay,
strong.
So, I mean, so you're married, so I know people probably ask y'all stuff all the time or whatever, but just in general, I was just like, why is this event where you want to ask the questions? Because, like, y'all are, even if you're just meeting the person in person for filming, y'all are now on a cast together. So there's going to probably be some dinner. Somebody's probably going to have a game night. It's going to be something going on where there's a better atmosphere for you to ask those marital questions. Like, I just didn't understand why they thought that they were actually going to get that. They was probably like, no.
And at first I thought it was one of those just like things, whatever, like, like not a funny, but like, oh yeah, that's a topic, like that'll be something cute for the camera or
And let the
something.
lady
But
speak.
they were serious. And then
They
when
were
Chris and
serious.
Monique got back, and they talked about how, like, yeah, they wasn't even trying to tell us nothing. It was like, are you really expecting that? Like
See,
you think
but
they have like
then,
the keys to the castle? Like you think they got the cheat codes? And the
but
funny thing to me is this, like, every relationship is different. So they might, I'm sure they have some interesting, advice that probably is, general, but everybody's relationship is different. And it also depends on the connection that they have. And it depends on how they communicate. They've obviously been through some things because we got to
oh
meet
yeah,
James Tyler's son. I mean, like they're both of their son. What's his name? Like James Tyler
Jason.
Jr. or Jason?
Which one?
Well, they got two
The
sons.
oldest
One of
one
them
is
is
the fourth, I believe. He's Jamie the fourth,
okay,
and then I think the other son's name is Jason. I think.
Jason, and he's the one that's visually impaired.
Yes.
He was funny too. He had like a joke in there. It was hilarious, but like he had the accent too. I was like, y'all are local. I
Yeah.
love y'all.
So funny.
I
See,
love it.
but my thing is like, okay, even though I might appear to be a wealth of information for something like this, just let's just say I own 50,000 nail salons, and
Yeah.
you see me and you do nails, and you like, oh, let me ask you some questions. There's still a time and a place, and I just didn't understand why they were harping on that. But then it also did make me think that why, like, why would this, when we're filming, be when you're asking me about this, when we have to have some other time? I would just be like, it's certain things that's going to be said on camera and certain things that are not. So like, if you really want advice, then we can have a conversation, but not in front of the cameras, because like, what are we doing? So I don't know, that did cross my mind.
Listen, let me just say this, and I'm not trying to accuse anybody anything, but I think it's one of those things where it's for the camera. So that's what I thought it was, but I thought it was super innocent at first. Like, oh, this is just one of those things that you just, it's something that you can talk about when you film. And then I thought to myself, well, are they trying to expose something? Like, why is it so important for them to get on camera and talk about this? Yeah, you're right. To your point, you're not going to have some in-depth discussion about all the tribulations and trials of marriage on camera. You know what I mean? You're not going to do that. Number one, there's some stuff that, especially like man to man, woman to woman, that they can share that I don't even want my husband to know, right? If I'm trying to teach somebody like how we've made it work, I gotta tell her some stuff that I haven't even really told him. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're gonna have a vibe in a conversation, but it's not gonna be like that. So the first time I was like, oh, okay, no, but then I was like, she keeps bringing this up, and they were really shocked that they didn't give up.
And then they talked about it behind the scenes. So I'm like, what is that? So I don't know if that's like a lead in to something else, but I really like their relationship, the Tylers I'm talking about. And I like I really, really enjoyed that scene when Jamie, I believe, came to his dad and had a one-on-one with him, and he came in there. I liked the pants he was wearing too. I was like, okay, he put those off. But
yeah, they be dressing.
He came over there, and I didn't realize
that it was on point with the fashions.
Oh yeah, they looked good. The couple looked good. The son looked good. Like they knew what they were doing. So then, when he came over there, he had a real moment with his dad. He took some responsibility. I just really like to see that. Like, everybody has their flaws and things that they've gone through. It seems like from the previews that he has maybe some drug charges or something that I don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, like we've been through some things. So it happens, especially when you're young and you're just out there. You don't really know what's out there.
He's still a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
in my eyes. Not like a baby, I need the baby, but
I know what you mean.
Got some shit to learn.
A baby and he's learning, but it's easy to get caught up in this type of thing. And I just appreciated and I appreciated him taking ownership and approaching his dad that way. I just felt like he has such a great character, and he was locked eyes with his dad. You can't really look at your dad or your mom.
His dad got emotional too. So
yeah, you can't really, if you're close to your parents, like it looks like they're a close knit, real family. Like even though they hadn't been talking or whatever, when you look at your mom or your dad in the eye like that, you can't front, you can't fake, like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was cool that they had that moment. And I thought it was really amazing the way he spoke to his son, because it was stern, but it was with love. And
Mhm.
I don't think we get to see that a lot on TV from a Black father,
Nope.
right? Like, really, like, sternly parenting his adult son while giving him nurturing as well, right? And
Mhm.
so even Jamie said at the end of the conversation, he was still holding on to his hand, and he was like, I love you, I love you. And he said to his dad, he was like, I need that. I need to hear that from
Yep.
you. And I was like, oh, I'm not even joking here. I
So,
almost teared up because I just felt that, young. I was
so
like, yes, we need to see this. I love this.
he said there's going to be a lot more conversations like that, like a few more conversations like that. And so they're excited about the season or whatever it looks like. So you know how, I'm just interested to see how it's going to be versus what is the Huntsville? Because see, like I haven't. I've abandoned Huntsville as well. I watched the
Yeah.
first two. The first two seasons, and I was out.
What are you gonna do? Something about them is just not interesting. You know what I mean? It's just like, you ever had that?
A lot has happened now, so I don't know. Melanie has a song now. She made a song to the side
I'm
chick
about
and
to
all this
say
other stuff.
something so ratchet. So I listen. You ever have this relationship in your life that the guy was like a good looking guy or whatever, and so you just keep trying, you just keep opening that box back up, and then you take a little out, and then you realize, like, oh, this is why this wasn't for me, and then you walk away, and then years later you come back on and you're like, you know what? Why didn't this ever work out? You know what I'm saying? And you just
Mm-hmm.
keep opening the door back up, and you keep remembering, like, oh, that's why. Okay.
And listen, why? Since you said that, I'm glad for people who like have a problem in encountering people they used to mess with in their past, and you can't remember why y'all stopped messing with each other. Just take the fact that you can't remember as a don't go back.
Yeah,
So.
maybe you buried that. Well, anyway, I only brought that up to say, because that's how I feel about Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Okay.
Because every time I go to watch it, and I'm like, oh, there's a scene that's been trending wherever, or I've seen this preview so many times. Let me go try to watch an episode. And then I always get back to this point where I'm just like, y'all are Bamas. And I mean, it's not even like everybody, but it's just like it's either like, you ever see those old like 90s movies, black movies, the independent joints before Netflix, where they were just bad movies, like the writing was bad, the acting was bad, but you're just gonna support a black film and it's fine. I kind of like bad movies.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, that's kind of how Love and Marriage Huntsville is. It's like bad acting.
Well, luckily we don't need to know what's going on in Huntsville to watch this one, but I feel like this one is going to be really good. I'm excited to see, how it turns out. I like all the people right now or whatever. It's about to be summertime too, and so there are going to be a bunch of events coming up. And so I am going to make sure that I keep you posted on what's going on.
Yes.
Let's see how I did that, what's going on.
Yes.
Because there's a bunch of things that look interesting coming up. But look at this comment. Gwendolyn came back in, and she says,
oh my gosh.
As a nurse, you would be surprised how many people don't wash their navel.
But it's right there. That's like the easiest thing to wash.
I don't get it. So, okay. Because there was this other lady on YouTube too that was like, she was going to do these series of telling people how to wash their navel and how to keep their butt clean all day or whatever. But
that's probably so true. Ew, people just be okay, I don't know. I like to wash all parts of my body. I don't understand how a part is missed. But yeah, okay. Gwendolyn said, I felt
everything's getting wet by the water, so why don't you just wash everything?
Why don't you wash it? You got the soap in the rag right there. It's like a fun thing. You know what I mean? Like, what part didn't I get? Oh, let's try it again. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, you do have to, like, I don't know.
Backtracking is a no-no, but I have been guilty in the past. And
that's how I know not to do it.
Yeah, it is exactly the truth.
Especially if you can't remember why it didn't work with this person, or like, oh, why did I never talk to him?
And I mean, sometimes it's a different reason. It's like, oh, maybe they're different now. And then you quickly come to find out that they're not.
Not at all.
Well, we didn't get the chance to talk about DJ Quicksilver and Ashley.
Okay, so I always have known who Quicksilver was because of the radio, and like you remember 4 years ago, that whole thing happened with Danny on the radio, where like they kind of it was said that they ambushed
he involved in that?
So he was her co-host. That was what was they calling themselves at the time? Because it was her, Quicksilver, and another dude. And I can't remember what they used to call themselves, whatever. But I was driving to work that morning. I remember because I was working at a job that I couldn't fucking stand, didn't want to go to, and I was in traffic coming off Suitland Parkway, and I was listening to it, and she apparently had it was the whole nanny thing. Like she just decided she declined a girl to be a nanny, and somehow the girl ended up making arrangements to come up to the radio station, and her co-host let the girl come and approach her or come talk to her or however it was. I think she was.
They set up an interview because I remember that too, and I was on my way to work that morning as well, and I was already
like International Women's Day or something like that.
It was horrible, and I was thinking to myself, first of all, I was on her side because I was like, I ain't bringing no pretty woman up in my house.
But then so Ashley had called and checked Quicksilver, like that wasn't right. You shouldn't have did that or whatever. But then later on, it came out that she knew that the girl was coming up there. She knew she was doing it off of the radio. So I don't know, but she was on like Brazilla's too. Danny was on Brazilla's before, so I don't know how true it was that she knew. But I kind of leaned towards believing it after I saw a couple of like articles about it, but that's neither here nor there. So, but Ashley has a podcast as well, and she's also I think she has a YouTube channel now too. So
okay,
but I like her too. She's sarcastic.
She's funny. I think she has a lot of personality, and I really felt her on that one scene where I really felt it from both sides, but I understood what she meant about like kind of putting her stuff on hold to make sure everything's right with the kids. And she promptly called him out. Like she was like, "Oh, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. Like you're not doing this." You know what I mean? And she was so calm when she said it. And I can relate to that because this is like people don't be knowing how much work it is to keep.
I was getting ready to say, and most of the stuff that if they switch places, or not even switch places, but if he had to fill in for her, he would be lost. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, listen, and I try to bash him or whatever, because I also get his side of like, you know, when you got something that's working, especially if it's something that you love, right? And it's working and it's making money and it's providing a lifestyle, like, yeah, I'm going to go and do this as much as I can, right? It's like pressing a button, like, hey, every time I press this button, the money comes down. Stand here all fucking day. Right. So I get what he's saying, and I appreciate his work ethic. But I also understand like her point of view, because it's like, look, I've done everything that I said I would do, and now I want to focus on me being a successful human being in my own right. Yeah, so I get where she's coming from with that. So I'm hoping to see a little more about them and get to know them better. But I'm loving the show so far.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'm looking forward to see like what comes out of it, you know, because I feel like it's certain things that, even though, you know, it is scripted, I think it's certain things that we do need to see, you know, just people go through, or like people discussing openly their situations, because you never know who can relate to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so so Ashley also did an interview with Keyshia yesterday. That was a pretty good interview too. She's really laid back as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see what the rest of the season is going to look like. I'm going to be doing the reviews on it, and I feel like we can recap together, because I always like to hear your point of view on everything. So it doesn't really matter what it is, because you always look, y'all, this is my little sister, and she's obviously my younger sister. But when I tell you that you can learn from your younger siblings, don't sleep on them because they're younger than you, because this one right here has taught me a lot. So, but I always like to hear your opinions about stuff, because you give me different perspectives to think of, or ways to look at it. Like, you know what? I wasn't looking at it.
You know what? Likewise, like, you know what? And it's so funny because obviously I learned so much from you. It's so funny when I had this thing that happened to me a few weeks ago, and you were like, good job. And I was like, you know what? That means a lot. When my older sister tells me, like, you know what? You did good. And I still need that. It's like, that's one of those Jamie moments. Look, if I was holding your hand, I'll be like, I need that. I need to hear that. Like, that was good.
Right now.
But also, it's like, I would say this, it's so refreshing to have somebody like this in my life, where I know, what I mean, I have other people too, you know, I have a husband and I have friends and stuff, but like, there's no one like you that we can share all the details. There's nothing left off the table. I can tell you, like, even the stuff that sounds bad that I know I shouldn't be talking about or thinking. You know what I'm saying? And like, and to have that level of trust and honesty with the person, it's just so relieving. And so I know exactly what you mean, because when you talk about perspectives, I feel like you kind of have to have that kind of trust and no room for judgment type of thing. Like, we never judge each other. So it's like,
I was about to say, because I know I've called you before and be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but I need you to let me know if I'm tripping, and I will be able to tell you 100% of what I'm talking about, and kind of get your feedback or whatever, even if I don't take the advice. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and that's not my expectation. So my only,
be cautious about something.
My only give is to be like, here's what I see. Right, and just be real about it, and then you take that information and make your best decision. So I think that's where a lot of people might go left too, is when they're like, I told her to do this and she ain't even doing it, and the next time she called me, it's like, it wasn't for that. It was so that I could give you a viewpoint and I could see what you thought, and then I'm gonna go through. I was always gonna do what I was gonna do anyway. What did you think?
On top of that.
Right, like, people be doing that, and that we know, and it's like, why would you think they're just like, oh, the life source has decided my fate, and I'm going to go along word by word, step by step. Like, no, I called you for advice to get your viewpoint. Halfway, I just wanted to vent, and they're like, get out of here, being offended by me not taking your advice. So no, I get you on that, but yeah, I look forward to seeing this whole season.
Goody said we sap. She said sappy sap, so she sent a virtual hug.
We are sappy. All right. Thanks,
hey, listen. This is us, so it is what it is. No. But no, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it for this week. I hope that we have a special episode next week. I want to be able to like include bro over there. I got something that I pitched to you, and hopefully I can get the other person to confirm, because I think it will be an awesome show. But anyway, y'all, follow her on Instagram. I'm about to put the little banner up. Follow her on Instagram at Yes I Am a Unicorn 24/7. Also, I don't have all these up. That's a demerit for me. But also, Is It Crazy or Is It God on Instagram, as well as, is it the same on YouTube?
Yep. Is It Crazy or Is It God? Yep. Okay. That's where it is.
All right. And then
follow Demita Joe. You already following Demita Joe, or else
y'all already following me, but make sure y'all follow Relationship Entertainment Television, because they're a Black-owned network, and they have several other Black content creators. They talk about business, entrepreneurship. There's also a show on there that talks about things that happen in the church. I'm on there. There's also the Millionaire Man Cave, and the Millionaire Man Cave comes on Tuesdays at like 8 Eastern Standard Time, y'all. And y'all can catch them live. It's 4 married men basically talking shit, but you just have to be there. It's hilarious.
And like, let me give a shout out to Fourth Quarter. Fourth Quarter is a sports show from the fans' perspective. You got 4 super fans. They know everything about basketball, everything about football, and they get and talk together, and it's hilarious. It's very refreshing. It's not ESPN. It's from a fans' perspective. So if you get a chance to follow Fourth Quarter.
Yes, and make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, because I'm gonna share everybody. So
yeah, we'll all share everybody.
Yes, we'll definitely share. Do that. But yeah, other than that, I want y'all to like the video. I want y'all to subscribe, share it on Twitter or wherever you can share it, if you can share it. And comment below, and come back and see us in, next week, same time. Same place, same bat channel.
Yep. We used to watch that. Same bad time, same bad channel.
That could be a show too, because there's a bunch of stuff we used to watch that TV has really changed. Like you can't even like TV used to go off back in the day.
Whenever MASH used to come on, I just used to know I don't want to watch it anymore.
Ain't nothing else coming on to the morning.
MASH.
Anyway, Let the Lady Speak podcast. She's also a content creator. So if y'all are not following her, follow her as well. Anyway, so all right. No, you know what? I can't go nowhere yet. Follow all of my Keyshia reviews crew as well. Goody Gabor, Dina, aka Christina Moore. Let's talk with Sheila Jordan, who was in the chat. On Everything, who is E. Nicole. I gotta put a post up with everybody's thing in it, because we have a lot of people who are doing a damn thing. Confessions of Reality Queen, Maud Afro Mama, and I know I'm gonna get a demerit if I forget anybody, but they'll let me know. Anyway, I see you guys. Oh, Benny Hill. Yes, TV has changed so damn much. Anyway, I'm about to start rambling now, so let me get up off of here. We'll see y'all in the next video.
Bye.